The Government of Kenya and the African Development Bank Group, I wish to extend a warm welcome to all distinguished guests and delegates to the highly anticipated 2024 annual meetings in Nairobi, Kenya. Kenya's desire to host the 2024 annual meeting and the 59th annual meeting of the African Development Bank Group underscores its commitment to advancing regional and continental cooperation towards an inclusive and sustainable development. The Republic of Kenya takes pride in the foresights of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, in singling out contemporary African problems of socio-economic transformation required given the existential threat of climate change. The required reforms of the multilateral development banks to be fit for purpose, scale up resources, and championing for the reforms of the global financial architecture. This is the 59th annual meeting of the African Development Bank Group and also marks 60th anniversary of the African Development Bank. It is thus a celebration. It has a theme, African economic transformation, the African Development Bank Group, reforming of the global financial architecture. It is such an exciting theme at this time in African continent. The annual meetings will provide an unparalleled networking opportunities, facilitating strategic collaboration and partnership with key decision makers from African Development Bank Group member countries, as well as all shareholders, but also explore feasible solutions for African economies and the transformation agenda. We want to assure you all, our distinguished guests and delegates, that Kenya is fully prepared to host the event, ensuring a seamless experience for everyone. The event will be hosted at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. The historical significance of this convention center is that it hosted the World Bank and International Monetary Fund annual meetings half a century ago. That was in 1973. We look forward to welcoming you to Nairobi for what promises to be a historic chapter in our ongoing partnership with the African Development Bank Group, the African region, and the world at large. So karibu Kenya, welcome to Kenya. Asante sana, thank you very much.
Fear is the belief that God is not with you, you of little faith.
You know, Jesus said, let this mind that was in me be in you. In a generation of different ideologies, scientific atheism, African Renaissance, how do we ideally allow the mindset of Christ?
Tuko kwa generation, we are chasing the interests, where we have small boys, big cars. We are in a space where hatutaki kuwa patient. We want life that comes up so fast.
I sticked and I had discipline in my whole life to say that I want to stand out in the community and I want to be a champion of saying it's not about what you guys know, it's about what God knows about your life.
The 24th day of May 2024 it is. Good afternoon. This is the great KBC, just in time for KBC Lunchtime News. My name is Njue, and Byron Abuli will be a sign language interpreter for this live newscast. We have a comprehensive bulletin lined up here for you. Let's have a look at the headlines shaping up the news conversation in the country at this hour. To our top story, where we do look at the president's visit to the United States, where President William Ruto has defended the deployment of 1,000 police officers to Haiti as part of a multinational security intervention in the Caribbean nation as a cause for humanity. This as U.S. President Joe Biden promised material support to the mission that will be led by Kenya. Speaking during a joint media briefing, President William Ruto said despite the scourge of banditry in northern Kenya, the country was committed to dealing with insecurity within and outside its borders as part of the global responsibility.
Kenya expected to deploy a contingent of 1,000 police officers to Port-au-Prince to be part of a multinational security mission seeking to end gang violence in Haiti. President William Ruto and his host Joe Biden have defended the intervention as timely and appropriate. During a joint presser at the White House, President Ruto and Biden said the deployment of officers thousands of kilometers from home was a cause for humanity.
I agree with President Biden that Kenya's participation in Haiti is not so much about what happened in the past. It's about what we believe in, the peace and security of humanity. And we don't find that the U.S. is committing Kenya because the U.S. cannot commit Kenya. I am the president of Kenya. It's me to make that decision.
Haitians are looking for help, as well as the folks in the Caribbean are looking for help. And so we checked out with a number of other countries. The one who stepped up was Haiti. We committed to provide the wherewithal, the intelligence and equipment and the like to Haiti. And so it's a logical thing.
President Ruto says Kenya stands ready to deploy officers for peacekeeping missions as a means of discharging her global responsibilities.
Kenya believes that the responsibility of peace and security anywhere in the world, including in Haiti, is the collective responsibility of all nations and all peoples who believe in freedom, self-determination, democracy, and justice. And it is the reason why Kenya took up this responsibility, because we have been participating in peacemaking.
We concluded that for the United States to deploy forces in the hemisphere just raises all kinds of questions that can be easily misrepresented about what we're trying to do and be able to be used by those who disagree with us and against the interest of Haiti and the United States. So we set out to find a partner or partners who would lead that effort that we would participate in, not with American forces, but with supplies and making sure they had what they needed. And so, I'm very grateful for President Ruto's leadership here, multinational effort, but Kenya's willingness to really lead this matters.
Being an anchor state in dealing with the security crisis in the Horn of Africa and the Great Lakes region, President Ruto called for dialogue in the ongoing conflict in eastern DRC.
Shortly, we will be looking at how to begin the dialogue process under the Nairobi process, because we believe there is no military solution to what is going on in DRC, but instead, dialogue should be able to give us the necessary momentum and outcomes that would settle the matters in eastern DRC.
In a separate meeting meant to deliberate on investing in climate solutions at the John Hopkins Bloomberg Center, the head of state called for inclusion in addressing the global phenomenon of climate change.
Climate change is a global problem that cannot be solved in isolation. As pioneers of efficient market solutions, we all understand that compartmentalization leads to sub-optimization.
To cap his state visit, President Biden hosted President Ruto and his delegation to a state dinner attended by former U.S. Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton.
Sunshine all around the face, and the rains fall soft down the field. Until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. And can you? Yes.
And to the enduring bonds of friendship, partnership, and solidarity between Kenya and the United States. To the President.
John Jacob Curia, the Lunchtime News.
We are definitely keeping tabs on the president's visit to the US of A. More in our subsequent bulletin. Back home, a section of students at the University of Nairobi is now citing malice over the removal of Stephen Kiambu as the institution's vice-chancellor. Through the University of Nairobi Students Association, the learners claimed Council Chair Amukoa Anangwe has replaced Professor Kiambu with the Dean Faculty of Engineering, Professor Ayub Njoroge Gitau. Speaking at the main campus, the students from various branches of the university across the country alleged a meeting held last year at the council chambers in the UON towers resolved to send the vice-chancellor on compulsory leave. They are now urging the government to intervene and reverse the decision.
Of it was for the VC to proceed on a terminal leave. And therefore, we are trying to say that the VC is a grown-up. That's one thing. Number two, also the VC is an academic staff who is committed to academic excellence of this school. And therefore, he is somebody who can make his own decision of whether he can proceed on leave or not.
This is the third memo, and it is very frustrating to the comrades fraternity. There's no clear communication who is going to be the VC, who is the acting VC. The acting VC is not even anywhere to be seen. And it's causing a lot of tension in the institution. We want to call upon the government to come in and take action against the council for causing stress and tension in the institution. And also, we want peace and order in the institution.
In other news, Korogocho market traders in Nairobi are protesting a move by private developers to allegedly demolish their kiosk and repossess the land. The angry lot argues this will disrupt their source of livelihood, calling on the county government to intervene and help resolve the stalemate. In 2020, the government demolished structures erected and took possession of the Kariobangi Siwa land.
Mbona tubomolewe vibanda zetu na tuliwasongea? Hiyo ndio sio tulitii na tukaondokea hao watu. Kwa nini saa hizi wanakuja kusema ni manyumba zinajengwa? Wamebomoa geti 5, watu 500 wameadhiriwa.
Sisi tuko na swali moja. Serikali ilipoweka hii ukuta na ikawatoa, serikali haijaauthorize hii ukuta bado ubomolewe, na wamekuja wameanza kubomoaji.
Saa hii tungehitaji kujua yule mkubwa ameonana vyema ati hii soko sio hii kiwanja sio sewage ati ni watu binafsi. Hiyo barua sasa ikuje na ituelekeze pale tutaenda.
Hii shamba ni yetu, ilibomolewa mwaka 20. Tumefuata kotini, tumekatia sisi kwa sababu iko na title.
Elsewhere, the government has moved to mop up illegal firearms from residents in Laikipia, Samburu and Isiolo counties in a bid to reduce cases of cattle rustling in the 3 counties. According to Laikipia County Commissioner Onesimus Kiatha, a joint operation has commenced and police officers have been deployed to apprehend criminals holding illegal firearms. Laikipia North Member of Parliament Sarah Lekorere urged residents to work with security officers to make sure all criminals are brought to book.
Wale machifu wako hapa na wale wengine wote, nataka tushikane mikono, wahalifu katika Laikipia North wote tuseme no, si kweli? Na tukatae kabisa wale watu ambao wanahusika na mambo ya ujangili. Hizi unafaidi watu 2 3, haifaidi jamii ama inafaidi jamii? Hakuna. So mimi nataka tushikane mikono, ile wahalifu wako North wafanye ile kazi, tuwatoe, alafu sisi tukabaki na wale watu ambao wanataka maendeleo, wale watu wanataka shule, wale watu wanataka kanisa. Hao ndio watakuwa marafiki ya serikali.
Tuangaishe wale ranchers wako hapa, ati tuangaishe wale watu ambao sio wa kabila yetu wako hapa. Sisi katika Kirimon Division na katika Laikipia North constituency tumesema hatutakubali muungano wa uhalifu. And I want to assure you, County Commissioner, those who have those plans, we'll deal with them. Wengine ni viongozi na mimi siwaogopi, and I'm sure serikali ndio iwaogopi zaidi. We will deal with them. Tutakabiliana na wao. Nyinyi kina mama mnajua haya mashamba, saa ingine tunasukumana na wao, lakini wamekuwa marafiki wetu wa karibu.
And away from that, a section of civil society group has called on the government to deal decisively with corruption within the public offices. Bunge la Mwananchi, while addressing the media, claimed some cartels were slowly infiltrating the public offices such as the Kenya Railways, Kenya Urban Road Authority, National Transport and Safety Authority, and the Teacher Service Commission. The group also argued that the move might jeopardize and undermine service delivery.
This is a scheme so that some people can make or can they are trying to demonstrate that some people are incompetent by starving them of resources. The president should look out on this, and as Bunge la Mwananchi we are pursuing this matter, and we are going to make Kenyans know more about this.
And we are saying, as members of Bunge, we will support you 100%. And that's why we are informing you so that we can merge notes and so that we can check what we can do on this area. Mr. President, this Kenya belongs to all of us, and that's why we are appealing to you so that, Mr. President, we can articulate Article 1 of the Constitution of this nation, 2010. We are warning those cartels. You have to back up and let our CEOs, let our Director Generals to work with peace.
Elsewhere in Nairobi, Kibera residents can now enjoy easier access to water following the launch of an innovative aerial piping water project. The aerial piped water system donated by a non-governmental organization sets the stage for communities to access clean water, thus reducing severe cases of waterborne diseases. While appreciating the impact the project will have on communities living in the area, Engineer Emmanuel Rurema said they installed 52 water kiosks across Kibera and Langata to over 8 public schools and health centers. At the same time, Dr. Kennedy Odede called on the community to utilize the water for domestic use.
We are here to launch our water programs, whereby we are serving over 40,000 people with clean water. So it's a big initiative. So we hope even to reach over 100,000 as time goes by. So this is just the beginning. So our water, because of the poor sanitation down there, our water is aerial pipe that goes across the sky there. So we're just happy, as someone do grow up in Kibera, to see this clean water, which I also drank.
The community set up how the houses are built and where water comes from, where water needs to go. So we found that if we have to bring underground piping, it's going to be difficult, because you need to demolish a lot of housing. So we decided that bringing pipes in area distribution like electricity is the most safe area, number one, because the pipe is intact, so people will not be able to reach the pipe at 50-meter height.
And still on the precious commodity, the county government of Laikipia has taken a step in addressing the water crisis in the county. The county, in partnership with Hindu Council of Kenya, flagged off the first phase of 3,000-litre water harvesting tanks to several women groups at the Rumuruti County headquarters, and later another batch of 81 tanks to beneficiaries of women groups from Kirima Ward. Speaking during the flagging off of the water tanks, the Hindu Council of Kenya Vice Chairman Dr. Sonvir Singh stated that this noble idea of supplying water over 50,000 tanks of 3,000 litres to different vulnerable families that get affected by drought in the county will see an improvement in the lives of locals. Laikipia County has for years had conflict between herders, farmers and business people who scrambled for the limited resources.
Happening, as we noticed, what with the water, when water flow, even our fertile land, all fertile this soil also go. So once if we work also this type of technology, we are really working on that. Okay, we can make some small ponds of area wise, and that the water can be reserved for whole year. It has a calculations.
Itakuwa aibu ukiwa na tagi kama hii na ile mvua umeharvest, ile maji umevuna ni ya bure, kwa maji ni ya bure, hii ni ya Mungu. Alafu nawe ati unaenda kununua madharu na maspinach unaenda kununua kwa duka, wakati unaweza kuanzisha nini kitchen garden. Kwa hivyo tunataka hii kuwe ya baraka, si maji ya kunywa peke yake, lakini ukuwe na kachaba kidogo, utakuwa una harvest madharo, utakuwa una harvest vitunguu pale, hata nyanya unaweza kupanda pale kidogo kidogo, ndio inaokoa ile gharama ya maisha ya familia zetu. Kwa hivyo ebu hii tagi tena ikue ya baraka kwenu, na ndio watoto wetu wasikuwe wanaenda kukimbia ati wakitoka shule ati mtoto msichana au kijana anakimbia jioni ndio aende kuchota maji. Sasa atakuwa na wakati wa huo mtoto kwenda kusoma na kufanya homework ya mwalimu.
Yangu ni Mase Wanjiko, natoka upande wa Ormoran, area ya Githima. Sasa hivi nilikuwa nimekujia tank yenye tulikuwa tunapewa na gavana, na nimefurahi sana kwa sababu kutoka leo kuendelea nitakuwa nikipata maji safi ya kukunywa na ya kutumia nyumbani.
Very well, at about 1:15 time for me and my colleague Byron Abuli to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, I'll run you through a couple of more stories right here, and then we will look at the sports news. I'll be telling you about the teenage 17-year-old sensation who won the Premier League darts in UK last night. Don't go away.
There we see the tension and drama will be ratcheted up. Immediately Benson, lovely ball in there, and that surely is the tie done and dusted.
And Sessi does watch it go over the line this side. It's a mistake by the defender and he's in.
Kamene, this is the kind of message you start with when asking for help. This is a very good deal, Kamene.
This is a very good deal and it is exquisite.
Warrior, you're worried about the breakfast. You are bana satuka urembo na kuevaporate. Your beauty is back to factory reset.
That is why I prefer all natural. What you see is what you have.
How do I know for sure you have not washed your kid in this container?
You are the customer. How can you wash the kid in that small thing?
Who spoke to you? You cement peddler. You think everyone is eating such cheap, big food?
Heshimisha watu wote Mungu.
Fear is the belief that God is not with you, you of little faith.
You know, Jesus said, let this mind that was in me be in you. In a generation of different ideologies, scientific, atheism, African Renaissance, how do we ideally allow the mindset of Christ?
Tuko kwa generation, we are chasing the interests, where we have small boys, big girls. We are in a space where hatutaki kuwa patient. We want life that comes up so fast.
I sticked and I had discipline in my whole life to say that I want to stand out in the community and I want to be a champion of saying it's not about what you guys know, it's about what God knows about your life.
Welcome back to KBC Lunchtime News. Remember, we are live on all our social media spaces for comments, suggestions, or even where you are watching us from. Moving on, let's take a look at the contentious finance bill. The Anglican Church of Kenya has opposed the proposals contained in the finance bill of 2024. Led by the ACK Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit, the clergy wants the finance bill taken through a rigorous public participation process, saying Kenyans are already overtaxed. Sapit says the views fronted by Kenyans during the exercise ought to be included and implemented when Parliament considers the bill. The bill, which was published on May the 9th this year in a special issue of the Kenya Gazette, is already undergoing public participation as per the National Assembly's public participation advert dated May 15, 2024.
Katika domain ya wananchi wa Kenya iliyoorodheshwa katika bill hii ya 2024-25, kuna mambo makubwa ambayo tuna hofu itasambaratisha maisha ya Wakenya pakubwa, hasa wale walio katika hali ya chini. Na ndio tunaomba serikali yetu pamoja na wanabunge wanaojadili sasa na wasifanye hii kitu inaitwa public participation kama kitu ya kuwekwa kwa makaratasi na PR na maoni ya wananchi haichukuliwi maanani.
Kule bungeni ndio tutakuwa tunajadiliana mambo ambayo yameletwa na Treasury, mahali wataongeza ushuru, mahali watapunguza, ili waweze kuokota taxes, ili waweze kufund the budget. Kile cha muhimu ambacho kama mbunge wa Samburu West nitakuwa naangalia ni ya kwamba tusiendelee kuwafinya wa Kenya sana.
Clinical officers have insisted that their strike will continue until their demands are met. Kenya Union of Clinical Officers General Secretary George Gibore, who joined the clinical officers in Murang'a, said negotiations between the union and the counties are still underway. Gibore said that following a just concluded meeting with the county governor Irungu Kang'ata, some of the emerging issues include the employment of more clinical officers to serve in the over 170 health facilities spread across the county and the promotion of clinical officers, among other issues.
Lingine lile ambalo hatujakubaliana ni kwamba kuna wale ambaye ni wahudumu wa afya ambao wameitwa jina ya UHC ama wahudumu wa afya kwa wote. Tunasema kwamba lazima wawekwe katika kandarasi za kudumu na walipwe malipo ambaye yamezawazishwa na wenzao ambao wako katika kandarasi za kudumu. Maombi yetu makuu ama ni demand yetu kwamba serikali lazima ikutane na haya ndio tuweze kurudi katika kazi. Kabla hawajafanya hivyo, basi mgomo wa maafisa tabibu nchini utaendelea. Solidarity forever.
And still on health stakeholders in Siaya County are advocating for earlier diagnosis of pre-eclampsia, condition a high blood pressure disorder rampant among expectant mothers attributed to cases of maternal and newborn deaths. This was the clarion call during the World Pre-Eclampsia Day held at Sega Vocational Training Center in Ugenya, Siaya County. During the event, speaker after speaker emphasized the condition is one of the leading causes of maternal and newborn mortality, calling for greater loss of lives.
The effect that preeclampsia has brought, majorly it leads to prenatal deaths. And sometimes when it goes to eclampsia, it can also lead to maternal death, which is a major threat for the reproductive health of people in Ugenya sub-county. So if we can get the prevention measures like detecting and preventing the complications, we cannot lose our mothers or babies.
Elsewhere, teachers and members of the clergy in Ruiru, Kiambu County have come together to address the rising number of teenage pregnancies and substance abuse in the region. This comes amid reports that girls as young as 13 years are dropping out of school after getting pregnant, while their peers in primary and secondary schools engage in alcohol and drug use. Bishop Mweti has laid blame on poor parenting and appealed for financial support to support and sustain a counseling program done by pastors in schools.
Shinda kubwa ambayo tuko nayo sana ni mambo ya uzazi. Unakuta nyumba nyingi, familia nyingi, tunasema kwa kizungu ni absentee parentism. Unakuta ya kwamba mzazi hayuko available kufundisha mtoto, na hata yule mwingine anaweza kuwa ako available. Kuna nyumba nyingi ziko na walevi, kwa sababu unakuta ya kwamba nyumba nyingi zinakaa ni kama slums. Zile story tunapewa na watoto kwanza wadogo, mambo hilo unapewa shinda, unakuta ya kwamba ziko iko tu hiyo mambo ya slum. So parenting imekuwa a very big problem, na ndio tungependa tuanze kuwa mold kutoka chini wakiwa watoto.
Still in Kiambu, a Nairobi-based land buying company has cautioned members of the public against being duped into buying plots registered under the Thome Farmers Company. The Farmers Company says some individuals purporting to be directors of the farm have teamed up with some law firms in Nairobi and are duping members of the public into buying unavailable plots. The Farmers Company claim a group of hooligans last week invaded its farm and started subdivision and purporting to allocate the same to duped buyers, and now want the police to investigate the law firms involved and ensure their property is protected and Kenyans conned into parting with their money get justice.
Na tunasikia wakisema ni wazazi wao, which we don't know whether it's truth or false. Si tulinunua shamba kwa babao, lakini babao alikufa 204. Shamba tulinunua 202, mzee alikufa 204, ndio anasema hao, lakini si hatujui kweli.
The date of when they transacted, just 1 year or 2 years, the person dies. So we don't want to preempt anything. However, let them come for clearance in this office. We have all the original documents and we have all the shareholders. Some are still alive, and even for those who have passed on, the properties belong to their families. We are able to identify them even physically. So let's do the due diligence.
Elsewhere, Embu Talent Hub has come up with an ambitious program to train talented youth to showcase their talent at a gala night slated for Madaraka Day in Embu. Embu County Executive Member in charge of Sports and Youth, Jane Waroga, said they plan on tapping young talent and exposing them in efforts aimed at ensuring those with talent are nurtured and supported to reap from their creativity. She said they plan on identifying, nurturing, developing and empowering talents for the national and international space.
Though we have another great event where we've put around 100 of them from the various sub-counties ili wafanyiwe next level na trainers kufunzwa zaidi juu ya hizo talanta zao ili angalau wawe kule waliona kuna tashwishi ama kuna upungufu wanapatiwa hayo maarifa.
Ningewahimiza wazazi wengine ambao wanaona watoto wao kuna talent, hata kama mtoto ako na 2 years aweze kunacha hiyo talent kwa sababu ni kitu cha muhimu sana. So just nurture the talent and itakuwa salama.
Let's now tilt the lens and focus on matters business. Matatu operators have threatened to increase transport fares if the motor vehicle circulation tax is implemented as proposed in the Finance Bill of 2024. Matatu Owners Association Chairman Albert Karagacha says the proposed tax will increase operational costs that will be passed down onto commuters. Karagacha is calling on the government to consider removing motor vehicle circulation tax in the Finance Bill of 2024.
request the government to really sit down with us. We'll request the chairman committee to sit down with us, because we believe that bill is not going to support the industry at all. We know that very well within the fuel levy. We normally pay taxes. We pay taxes from fuel levy. We still pay taxes from the insurance. So we are urging the government, we are overburdened in terms of the issue of taxes, and we will want to make sure that we be part of what is coming up, because we know the bill is not going to support the industry. We know the industry is leaking right now. We know very well within the industry we have the issue of corruption, which we are really struggling to make sure that we tame corruption. And we urge the government to really listen to the Matatu operators, because we are the ones carrying the hustlers. The hustlers are using the Matatu. If you compare a boda, you compare Uber, Matatu are cheaper all over the country. If you are taking a Matatu from town to Westlands, we are paying 50 shillings.
Elsewhere, financial institutions have been urged to step up investment channeled towards small and medium enterprises to empower the sector and build resilience of the business community. Absa Bank has undertaken an empowerment program that will invest and build the capacity of over 400 entrepreneurs in Nakuru County. My colleague Edna Murungi brings us the details to this news article.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic, the SME sector has faced significant constraints resulting from an unfavorable global operating environment, including supply chain disruptions, rising inflation, exchange rate volatility, and rising interest rates. In a bid to empower this sector, Absa Bank Kenya has kicked off county empowerment forums that seek to expand business opportunities for small and medium-sized enterprises.
We would like to be a one-stop shop for all entrepreneurs, and therefore our proposition covers not just access to finance, but also access to markets.
We are here to demonstrate to you how we are mentoring business people and to align ourselves to the topic and subject of the day, which is building resilience for business continuity in times of uncertainty.
Nakuru County Deputy Governor David Kohn said such initiatives will drive economic innovation and transformation, aligning with the government initiative to enhance SME sector and create jobs for young people.
We are particularly keen on financial, legal, institutional and legislative support.
Absa Bank plans to hold similar SMEs empowerment forums in Kisumu, Mombasa, Machakos, Mount Kenya. News.
Now, young scientists are urging policymakers to take an active role in involving them in biotechnology debates, emphasizing the need for informed and inclusive policy advocacy. Here's Frederick Moki with the details.
Young scientists believe effective policies are essential to maximize the benefits of biotechnological advancements while mitigating potential risks. They say biotechnology crops like cotton need to be enhanced to improve health outcomes and conserve the environment. Speaking during the Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology in Kenya, young scientists from various universities and research institutions said effective policies are key in maximizing the benefits of biotechnological advancements while mitigating potential risks.
Kutoa hiyo hofu, tumeanzisha kampeni ya kuhamasisha umma kwamba hii ni teknolojia iliyofanyiwa utafiti wa kutosha, ni teknolojia sisi wenyewe kama halmashauri tumeiangalia, tumehakikisha ni salama, na kwa hivyo hakuna haja ya hofu, na ndio tumeanza kurecruit scientists wale wanaanza their careers waweze kuelewa.
The young scientists underscored the need to equip policymakers with information about the latest biotechnological developments. To address these, they are now proposing increased collaboration between scientists and legislators, suggesting workshops, joint committees, and continuous dialogue as means to bridge this knowledge gap.
Tunataka kuwa part of the plan kwa sababu wito wa leo ni be part of the plan. Na kazi ambayo tunafanya sisi, mimi ni mwanasayansi kwanza, ni kutengeneza mimea ambayo inajistahimili against wadudu, against diseases.
And we have to organize a lot of seminars to be able to inform our youths about genetic engineering. We also have to use the various platforms, especially X and YouTube.
Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
14 farmer groups in Isiolo County have benefited with 140 modern beehives and essential honey production accessories to help them diversify their income sources. Here's Felix Q with the details.
Isiolo County is spearheading a diversification drive for the area resident to empower poultry and beekeeping as well as fish production in ports. This is meant to help them reduce reliance on cattle and camels, which are often the target for rustlers. The initiative targets to fully utilize the Isiolo honey refineries, whose operations have been below par due to insufficient honey production in the area. The new modern beehives have a capacity of at least 15 kilograms of honey.
I want to confirm that glasi moja ya asali ni shilingi 300. Glasi ya maziwa ni shilingi 30. Kwa hivyo tuangalie this a black gold. Hii ni dhahabu ambayo Isiolo imepata. Let us tap all the resources.
The initiative mainly targets to support women-led group who are being offered modern beehives, accessories for use harvesting of the honey, and 100 kilograms stainless steel tanks.
In total, we are issuing about 140 beehives to 14 groups. We all know that Isiolo is a county where we have the backbone being, pastoralism, and women, yet they are involved, but not that much. So this is really one of those activities that, gives them an opportunity really to be able to earn their own income.
The farmer groups will also facilitate with the market linkages.
Tunataka kushukuru county government yetu ya Isiolo na partners wa E4 Impact na wale partners wengine ambao wameweza kutusaidia na kuweza kutupatia mafunzo, wameweza kutupeleka outreach programs katika kaunti zingine, na pia sisi kama vijana tumeweza kuona vijana katika kaunti zingine wanajikimu kivipi kimaisha.
Felix Q, Lunchtime News.
And in sports, the Kenya Football Federation is hosting an advanced two-day media relations workshop for media managers from the FKF Women's Premier League and Women's National Super League at MISA offices in Komarok. The workshop aims to provide advanced knowledge in various aspects of digital media strategy, communication and media management, strategic planning and marketing, among others. 25 participants are set to benefit from the program.
That strength to make my work easier.
I'm privileged again to be back here for an advanced training. What I'm excited about now is the strategic planning and implementation part of it. I want to really learn that so that I can take it back to the club and also the organization at large and see how it will better improve the lives of the girls.
The battle lines are drawn in the CAF Champions League second leg finals as Egyptian giants Al Ahly aims for their 12th title when they host the formidable Esperance of Tunisia at the Cairo International Stadium. The match will be televised live right here on KBC Channel 1 this Saturday night at 8 p.m.
They have now become the first two sides ever to go 9 consecutive games without conceding in CAF Champions League history, following their barren draw in the first leg last Saturday. Esperance head into the second leg tie in a quest for their 5th CAF Champions League title and their first since 2019, as Esperance will also be looking to make it 2 consecutive Champions League final victories over Al Ahly when both sides faced off in the final back in 2018. Al Ahly, on the other hand, have a huge injury setback with Ali Maalul sidelined after tearing his Achilles tendon. In his absence, Karim Fouad has found his way back to the team with Abdel Monum, Mohamed Hani and club captain Rami Rabia at the defensive end of the pitch. Off the back of another solid defensive performance, Esperance might have an unchanged back four of Mohamed Ben Ali, Yassine Maria, Mohamed Tugay and Amin Ben Hamida, with Amanala Memiche starting between the sticks once again. Skipper Gailen Chele, Togolese international Roger Aholu, Jan Sass and Usain Teka will also be on the starting list.
From that shot coming in.
Now, Britain's Luke Littler hit a 9-dart finish on his way to a sensational 11-7 victory over Luke Humphries to claim the 2024 Premier League darts title. The 17-year-old wrote his name into the history books as a Premier League winner, alongside Phil the Power Taylor, Michael Van Gawen, Glenn Durant and Gary Anderson. Take a look.
He has done it! Luke Littler, the 17-year-old Phoenix.
Luke Littler, a 2007-born darts sensation, was crowned Premier League champion at the O2 Arena last night. The Brit became just the second player ever to hit a 9-darter in the final during his 11-7 victory over world champion Luke Humphries. The match was close, with one gaining a leg over the other. Humphries took out 118 to bring the game to 4-4 before the pair went into the break at 5-5. In the race to 11, Littler returned and threw his fourth 9-darter of 2024 to take control of the match, then broke away from the 29-year-old in the 12th for a 7-5 lead.
Can he?
The youngster, who entered the tournament as a wild card at the start of the year after finishing runners-up in the World Championships, roared to a victory in front of an electric crowd to claim a well-deserved Premier League title in his first attempt.
This is the end, or is it, of the Premier League 2024. Tops. He has done it, Luke Littler.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Emmanuel.
It was a very interesting match last night, and congratulations to Littler. Elsewhere, Manchester United will be seeking to avenge their 2-1 loss in last year's FA Cup final when they take on English Premier League champions Manchester City Saturday at Wembley Stadium. Manchester City are going for their 8th FA Cup title in the derby fixture, which is a rematch of last year's FA Cup final. A win for Manchester United will hand them their 13th FA Cup and propel them to the Europa League next season after missing out on European football due to their 8th place finish this season. Stefan Ortega will be in goal for Manchester City as Ederson is missing due to an eye injury. Harry Maguire will also miss the fixture as Mason Mount, Anthony Martial and Victor Lindelof are fit for selection. Very well, and on that FA Cup final preview, we wrap up KBC Lunchtime News this Members' Day. Thank you so much indeed for keeping me company. My name is Njue. Byron Abuli has been our sign language interpreter for this live newscast. Remember to check out this news plus much more in our social media spaces, including our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. I wish you a very relaxing weekend ahead.
100 kun oo lacag maanta haddii aan u baahdo qaabkii aan ku heli lahay 100kaas kun waxa waaye waa inaan beecsharo sameeyaa oo beecsharo bilaaba waa inaan ayuuta aan u galaa oo ayuutada aan galaa waa inaan dad qaraabe ah oo ma aragtay